Hello, dear friends. Latoya, I'm super excited to be back here with you all. I am the voice of VesselandCrown. I have been out of town and it feels good to be back in the swing of things. I'm grateful that I have the life that I have and the existence that I have, but I so wish I could be back on vacation. Uh, but I know that one day it will be my reality to be able to travel and take as long of a vacation as I want to. So for now, we're going to continue to be grateful, manifest, and put forward action behind those desires. I typically channel for the week on either Sunday or Monday, but I have been feeling led to do weekly energy forecasts. And initially I wasn't going to do a forecast because right now it is Monday where I am in the United States and it is 8:51 p.m. where I am in the United States. And so a small part of me was like, just wait and start the energy forecast, the weekly energy forecast in January. But I have been having this inner tug, this inner pull to go ahead and just do it, right? And when I receive those sacred nudges, it is definitely something that I am cognizant and aware of and listen to, right? Because there may be a message for me, for you, for the collective at large, and I am but a vessel. And so here we are. I am going to go ahead and pull up my calendar. I have done all of the things. I am tapped in, tuned in, and turned on, as Abraham Hicks says. And so I'm ready to go. All right, we'll go ahead and move forward with this week's energy forecast. So this is going to be for December 15th through December 21st. So today, Monday the 15th through Sunday the 21st. And then we'll start again the following week. Okay, I am going to reflect or tune in and share what comes in via spirit, and I'm going to be using some of my cards. And while this is not necessarily an oracle card reading, I'm going to pull the cards for a little bit of guidance. Okay, I have several decks pulled out, and so I'm just going to allow myself to be led and go with the flow. So the first deck that I am using is called Awakening the Goddess Within by Scheherazade Barnes. These are some of the most beautiful cards that I own. Look at that, that is just beautiful. It has this whimsical, ethereal feel to them. All right, and let's see what the message is. Okay, this card wanted to jump out. Okay. Oh, we have several cards jumping. Y'all, bear with me. I'm going to get these cards really quickly here. It's always funny when this happens, and it's definitely not a coincidence. All right, I'd say that we have a pretty good start to our weekly energy forecast. All right, so as I begin to tune in, right, and feel into the energy of this week, I am already feeling and sensing that this week is going to be a week where we are invited to really clear out the clutter, right? Clearing out the clutter mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and or energetically, and even physically. I'm hearing physically very loudly and very clearly. And so this could look different for everyone. Clearing things out physically could be maybe you stop wearing perfumes or lotions or things with harsh chemicals in them that may be your favorite, but they're being absorbed through our biggest, largest organ, right? Our skin, our tissue. And so maybe that's what it looks like to clear the clutter physically. It could also look like an opportunity for you to observe, take a moment to look at your diet. And what I mean by diet is just the everyday things that you eat, not to say that it's time for you to go on a diet, right? I'm not an advocate for all of that. That is something that we do here in the Western side of the world. It's $1 trillion energy industry that starts to kick off in December and really ramps up for the beginning of the year. We're not referring to that. We're referring to just looking at ways to clear the clutter energetically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the ways. And so again, for some of us, that may look like taking a deep dive into our diet. There are so many of us experiencing life's challenges, and or not necessarily always a challenge or always some sort of trauma. There are many of us just going through life, right, our day to day, and sometimes we feel fatigued and tired and overwhelmed, and we can't figure out why we're having an uptick in headaches or an uptick in irritable stomachs or whatever the case may be. And sometimes it's just all about taking an afternoon, an evening, a morning, an hour or so, and really looking at what's in your diet that could be eliminated. It's okay to enjoy sweets. It's okay to enjoy a glass of wine or a steak every now and then if that's your thing. But again, everything in moderation, right? And so I'm just hearing that really loudly. This is going to be a time for the world at large to really take care of their inner body, right? Resetting our gut, our microbiome, so that we can move forward with clarity. There's so much that takes place within our gut, our microbiome, within our wombs. For those of us that, still have our wombs, right, that are fortunate enough to have the womb space, so much happens in those general areas as throughout the entire body. So again, I'm hearing clear the clutter physically. So I invite you to just tune into what that looks like, what that feels like for you, and adjust and pivot where needed. I'm also hearing there's an opportunity for many of us to hydrate, right? That is also a form of decluttering and detoxifying the body. There are so many people, including myself, where we walk around and we say, oh, I'm drinking water, I drink, X amount of ounces of water per day, so on and so forth. But really and truly, some of us are still very dehydrated. So I'm hearing hydration, right? And this is going to be with water. One of the quickest ways, most natural ways to hydrate your body from the inside out is with lemon water, right? Because lemon water, fresh lemons or organic lemon juice, lemon water hydrates and replenishes at the cellular level, right? And so sparkling water will not cut it. Flavored water with all of the powders and all the things to make it taste good, yes, it counts, but we're going for alkaline spring water, mineral water, and fresh wind or organic lemon juice, right, to help detoxify and hydrate. So it's very interesting that is what is coming through very strongly. There's also an invitation for us to declutter in our physical spaces, right? Because our physical spaces are a representation of our inner world. And so if your outer world, your external, your home, your workspace is kind of chaotic or all over the place, and there's no organization and no order, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you have to be someone who has, all of the little gadgets and the organizers. But there is a lot to be said about decluttering and cleansing and organizing your space, right? External matches the inner, inner matches the external. More often than not. And so there is an invitation again to take care of our physical spaces. I'm also hearing very loudly and clearly an opportunity this week. The energy is all about cleansing and clearing. And I'm also hearing not in the same way that we do on the full and new moon. This is more for the preparation of winter solstice, right? We want to have a clean and clear house. And so with that being said, I'm also hearing an opportunity to clear the mental chatter. And while we understand that it is not human nature to never, ever, ever have any thoughts, it is possible to find yourself in a place, a space of stillness, right? When we allow ourselves to really, truly be still, right? And we're breathing in the energetic essence of all that is, right? God, Christ consciousness, source energy, universe. When we're breathing in all that is in stillness and breathing and allowing the energy again of all that is to fill you up, you have no choice but to be present, right? And when you are present in that moment, then you'll find more often than not that There are less thoughts, if any at all. And then if there are thoughts, they're there for a split second and they kind of dissolve and fizzle out, right? Because again, when we find ourselves in a true moment of stillness, where we're not having the TV on in the background, we're not scrolling on our phone and calling it stillness just because it's quiet, right? When we are truly still, sometimes even without music. In fact, we invite you to maybe get still without music and allow, again, the energy of all that is to fill you up as you're breathing. You have no choice. The body automatically eases into stillness and less mental chatter. All right. And so those are going to be opportunities for us to clear the mental chatter, those repetitive thought loops or thought forms that are no longer serving us, that don't serve us, that can be negative or harmful or low vibrational or stagnant and even unnecessary, right? So often we look at what's negative and low vibrational, and sometimes it's just unnecessary, right? We have the choice to be able, or the option to choose to think about something else, the option or the ability to choose to go and do something creative or active or productive, right? The objective here, the invitation here is to release, cleanse, and clear all of the unnecessary mental chatter. So it's very interesting that the energy right away that I'm tuning into is for this week an opportunity to declutter our minds, our body, and our spirit. As we move into the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, it's going to be even more important to schedule, if you have to, moments of stillness throughout your day. And we understand that many of us work, right? And there may not be options available for us to take those pauses, but where there is a will, there is a way. And so we can maybe go off to the restroom or take a little bit more intentional time during our lunch or snack breaks to have those moments of stillness for detoxification, decluttering of the mind, body, and spirit. We have to make the choice and be intentional with what we are invited into regarding the energy of this week. Detoxifying, cleansing, and clearing. This is going to be important as we move into the energy of the holidays as well as the upcoming winter solstice, right? We cleanse and clear out so that we can call in and manifest rest, right? We can call in and find solace in the peace that we're cultivating within ourselves, mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, right? So this is going to work in our favor. All right, beautiful. So that's what I have for this week for Monday. Where I am, it's Monday the 15th all the way up through Sunday the 21st. I'm also looking into the energy now of the cards that I pulled for this week. So I am using, again, the Awakening the Goddess Within deck. So it's a deck based on goddesses, of course. And so the first one is Radha. And she is all about eternal devotion, right? Eternal devotion. And as I tune into the energy of this card for this week, I'm noticing, first of all, the color scheme, right? There's a softness, there's a feminine energy to allowing yourself to lean into your commitments as it relates to being eternally devoted. Are you eternally devoted to the calling on your life, right? We can have all of the ideas, we can be the brightest folks in the room, we can be all of the things, but if we're not taking the time to check in to ensure that we are eternally devoted to the call, then what are we doing? And being eternally devoted to the call doesn't mean that you have to stick to one thing all the time forever. That's not the case. But there is an opportunity this week as we gear up for the new year to ask yourself, am I eternally devoted to the calling on my life, whatever that looks like for you? Right? And so there's a softness to that. Eternal devotion has a very soft feminine energy. Think Mother Mary, think Radha, think abundance, adorning your body, right? Allowing things to come into your life that are of your highest and greatest good with ease and with grace, right? Are you eternally devoted to the call on your life? The next card we have is Goddess Lakshmi. Goddess Lakshmi, right? The goddess of abundance and clarity and insight. And right away, this is just falling in line with the energy of this week, right? We want to cleanse and clear and detoxify in order to call in rest, right? Peace, cultivating a space for the winter solstice that's coming up on the 21st. And when we do that, when we cultivate this space, right? For all of the good things to come in, that we create this playground for abundance, right? So it's no surprise that Lakshmi wanted to pop out when as I was shuffling and getting ready for this energy forecast. It's a really beautiful card. Holding it up won't do it justice. But again, we have Lakshmi, goddess of abundant blessings. And so for some of us, abundance looks like getting a good health report from the doctor, right? It's not always financial. It can be. For some of us, it means being surrounded by our loved ones during the holiday season. And I'm hearing that not everyone has loved ones that are related by blood, right? And that's okay, because we want you to know that you are loved and supported and seen and validated by God, source energy, universe. And there's an opportunity for you to allow yourself to be surrounded by your chosen family, right? Whatever that looks like for you. It could be someone that you admire within the social realms. It could be someone that you know from church or from work, or a close friend. Whatever family looks like to you, that is abundance for some people, right? Being surrounded by their loved ones during the holiday season. Abundance could very well also be revenue, money, finances, unexpected checks, right? Blessings. All of these things constitute abundance. And so that is part of the energy for this week as well. And the last card for the energy of this week, again, we're reading for the 15th through the 21st, is Inanna. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this name correctly, but it's reading to me as Inanna or Inanna. And this is the goddess of invincibility, right? She is someone with an invincible spirit. I mean, just look at her stature, right? And so although this energy is being depicted here as a woman, as a feminine goddess, the energy is very much giving, right, a balance of masculinity as well. So for some of us, that may look like taking charge this week, standing your ground, putting those boundaries in place with clarity, with boldness, and with unwavering stability, right? You don't want your stability to be wish-washy when it comes to your boundaries. And so this masculine energy could be something that empowers you to help protect yourself as you move into the hustle and bustle of the holiday seasons, as we're getting prepared to be around a lot of people, around our families. Sometimes these holidays can be activating for some, right? It's not always a pleasant time of year for every single person. And so again, part of the energy of this week is having that invincible spirit where you're soft and feminine, but also very much leaning into your masculine energy. And again, this could look like boundaries. This could look like strength. This could look like saying no. No is a complete sentence, okay? And so this is what is coming out for the energy forecast for this week. And we'll leave that there. Before we close, I'd like to provide some next steps. And so what's coming through right now is that next steps for some of us could look like writing down our boundaries on paper so that we have a reference point when we're on the phone, maybe before we go to a Christmas party or a holiday gathering. For some of us, this could look like journaling. I'm also hearing mindful movement, and mindful movement is tossed around pretty often, but I'm hearing a mindful movement that cultivates the space for ease and flow, right? Ebb and flow. I'm seeing ocean waves, water in my mind's eye. So maybe that's restorative yoga, maybe that's qigong, maybe that's tai chi. And so, yeah, those next steps for some of us could be mindful movement, journaling, putting pen to paper, writing things down for those visual reference points. And then you're also expressing it verbally and getting it out to the universe when you do that. Excuse me. All right, so those are my next steps. That is the energy forecast for this week, for what came through for me, for us, for the collective. And until next time, dear friends, peace and blessings.